things, why don't you?
I always kick things.
Kicking things, let's go. What's up, everybody? Cheers. It's I don't know. What day is it? Thursday? Right. Thursday. I should know these things. I invented the days of the week, so obviously everyone knows that. Yes. Don't die. Jesus. Get that Rona out of my house.
I live here too. I'd be quarantined here.
That's very true, actually. Wouldn't really help me much. Socially distance. Stay in different rooms. Well, shit.
We just live in one big room.
We live in one big room, and there is no, the only things, other places you could put somebody would be the kitchen or bathroom, and one would still need to utilize the bathroom or cross through the kitchen to get to the bathroom. So we're kind of fucked.
Thankfully, we're not sick.
True story. If you're just joining us, make sure you press the like button. It is very important. Also, it is Thirsty Thursday. Let me get that banner rocking and rolling. So if you are just joining us, which is everyone, because we're just joining us, we have
Ace limited edition
pumpkin cider.
Yeah, it tastes good. Take a little sip.
Cheater, pumpkin eater.
Who brought these over for Thanksgiving? Kelly's friend? Okay.
I think Kelly, actually. I think those are Kelly's.
Well,
I remember seeing them at her house. These are fucking delicious.
Yeah, they're
Please send us super chats so we can eat more, drink more. I'm awake. Did not pregame. Ha 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 ha. Starfreak get your drink. This light is too bright or too focused on me. Actually needs to be more focused on you because I'm too bright and you're not bright enough. You're a bright star. There you go.
There you
go. I should fucking.
Hey, Dion's here.
I also forgot to make sure that Raging Rhino has this link in case he's off, because maybe he is.
Does this show reach the taint of Australia?
He's not in the taint. He's in Victoria. Lethal's in the taint.
Oh, my bad.
I mean, realistically, Australia is just the taint of the globe, so they're all down there.
Look, to all of our fans in Australia, I have nothing but respect for everyone. So,
anywho's, someone else's skull. This is my favorite thing in the world. Okay, so first of all, yes, Raging Rhino, we love him, we adore him, he's amazing. If we're lucky, he will be done work and he'll be able to come here and talk Mandalorian with us. We're very excited. If we're not lucky, we'll just be here talking about other shit instead. Like this amazing stream I'm going to do tomorrow with this amazing a dude that Anna and I met today named AK Rex. See if I can find his channel again real quick here. Oh yeah, I should turn that off. And what did I say? His name is AK Rex. Good name, because the only one. Anyway, so this dude's really neat. If you like dinosaurs, you'll like him. It's pretty much as simple as that. Also, if you like cool people, I think he's pretty dope, but come check him out on my channel tomorrow with Anna, that Star Wars girl, 2 p.m. Because we found that we had certain, in spite of being part of vastly different niches. Well, he's a fan of our channels and knows us. That's how we came to discover him. But in spite of being part of vastly different niches on YouTube and in nerddom in life, there's a great deal of crossover, both in the way that we issue politics and identity politics specifically in our niches, and the way the SJWs want to consistently try to attack us in those ways. So we are joining forces to conquer the trolls tomorrow in a great stream that we are calling Conquer the Trolls. So join us definitely on my channel tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific, for that baller stream where we're going to be tearing new assholes for members of the populace. So if you enjoy bloody violence and gore, yeah. It was so funny. I saw the super chats come in, and I have been on so many other people's channels recently that I'm like, oh, that's someone else's problem.
Yeah.
Nope, that's my problem. Claustoric says, hey, Jeff, next time you come over to play games in my dreams, I have Mario Kart, Smash Bros, Halo 2, and Parappa the Rappa.
Remember I told you about this?
Yes.
I think a listener said they had a dream where I came over to their house and played video
games. Yes! Oh my God, I love it.
It's funny. So he's like, oh, you're in my dream, and usually you go. But when I read the whole thing, I'm like, that's awesome. I definitely would come over to your house to play video games. I even responded with shit, I'm on my way or something like that.
Cheers to you, Claustoric.
Cheers to you, Claustoric.
And thank you for letting us drink this delicious dessert.
So what? Here's the thing, Claustoric. it's not about what we're going to play. It's what we're going to play first because these are all fun games. So maybe we start off with Halo 2 or Smash Brothers, then Mario Kart, Parappa the Rapper's like a fill-in game, and then you can use that to get your second win and do the other games again.
Okay.
Because if I'm going to come over for a gaming day, it's going to be a gaming day. It's going to be...
I see how it is.
Play till you drop.
Matt G says, you into the director's cut of Godfather 3? There are only 2 Godfather movies. All right, I was going to be here. Woo! There are only 2 Godfather movies. If I somehow find out that a third one magically appeared out of the ether all of a sudden and is not absolute and utter total garbage, someone please let me know. But until that time, I refuse to acknowledge any more than Godfather Part 1 and 2. But I will drink to that super chat, Matt G. How do you feel about it? So, Jeff, you said you'll give it a shot?
Because I don't have any affinity for The Godfather Part 3, I'm just like, as a curious observer.
See, here's the thing. Here's my big problem, right? I have never seen that movie because it doesn't exist. So, in order to accurately assess the quality of the director's cut of number 3, I would then have to acknowledge the existence of said 3 and then perhaps actually subject myself to it. So you see my conundrum. Matt G, if anyone else, I will start looking at the reviews and seeing what the reviews say. Let's see if we can find one real quick. It's just sacrilegious to type this. No.
Goldfarb.
There. Okay. News. New cut of Godfather Part 3 salvages Francis Ford Coppola's film. The Godfather Coda, The Death of Michael Corleone review. Coppola edits the past. Okay. How Francis Ford Coppola got pulled back in to make The Godfather Coda. The Godfather Coda review. Coppola revises Part 3 for the better. See, The Godfather Part 3 has been recut, but is it an offer you can't refuse? From the Financial Times. I feel like when the Financial Times reviews a movie, if they don't like it, it doesn't mean anything. But if they do, it probably means a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like
they're not going to go out of their way to review movies.
I feel like they're my dad.
Your dad's a website? Duh. 2 posers tried to ask me for an autograph. Or whatever he says. Some poser tries to hand me a piece of cake.
All right, so let's see. Apparently, I can only highlight this article. I can't actually read it.
What is this?
I have no idea what's going on.
It's like redacted. Oh, you didn't get a super chat.
The entire internet is broken. This entire article has been redacted.
It's a dead bed.
That's unfortunate, Financial Times. Let's see. NME.com says The Godfather Code is still the worst of the trilogy, but Francis Ford Coppola's new edit is a more fitting final flourish. I think I'm going to be happier continuing to deny the existence of Godfather Part 3. I think that's my final stance. But I'm open to having my mind changed, maybe. Emily says, Beth, I've discovered I'm a Candy Crush master.
Oh, shit.
Why doesn't that surprise me? Anita Sarkeesian was right. Thank you for the super chat, Beth. I'm going to keep calling you Beth, even though you're Emily now.
Remember when you used to call her Beth Dig Out?
Yes, before I knew the truth. Canadian Spider-Man. Oh, yes, he's back, right?
Yeah.
This is his first week back. Oh, that weird. Well, his first Thursday back that we were also back. Says, glad to have a drink again with you both. Christmas 79, my best present. Darth Vader doll, about 20 inches tall with plastic red lightsaber and cloth cape.
I know the
Cheers
exact
to
one you're
you,
talking
man.
about.
Cheers.
So, I would like to ask the question then, Jesse. I know you don't necessarily celebrate Christmas, but you do. Best gift you've received, Christmas or Hanukkah? Since we're talking about our favorite, like that time of year gift.
I don't even think I ever got one that like stood out that much. I had a giant stuffed dog once. That was pretty cool. Oh, and a giant stuffed bear that I named Chewbacca. I liked him.
Christmas '93 is the best. That's the Power Ranger Christmas I never stopped talking about. And that's just, what'd you get that year? Everything. Like, I even got a Super Nintendo right as the new year started because somebody gave me a late Christmas gift of cash. And my mom was like, what do you want to do with it? And I was like, I want a Nintendo. So that was like the greatest couple of weeks ever. Like, what kid wouldn't want every Power Rangers toy, no school, and a Super Nintendo?
I love how, you know how Anna was teasing Drunk about the shirt story?
Mm-hmm.
I love how this is your shirt story, but Christmas. Like, anytime Christmas is in the conversation, it's not even like that's just the story you tell when it comes to you. It's like anytime Christmas is remotely related to the conversation, you're like, I will aggressively find a way to tell this story.
That's why I'm making a comic of it.
I think it's wonderful.
Yeah,
I think it's so
I have to
sweet
tell the story.
Ooh, speaking of Christmas, but actually my birthday. I got a sweet present.
Speaking of things, but not something else.
My little sister got me a tent. It's so fucking cool. I'm really stoked for it. I wanted a tent for so long, and I can't wait to bust it out. Now I wish
Dude,
I didn't have
do you
so much
wanna-
shit on the floor.
I was gonna say, do you want to just like lock up the apartment and go sleep in the hallway?
Part of me does.
Like, we should go sleep by the Christmas tree.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
No one's gonna say shit to us. Like, excuse me, do you live here? Like, yeah, we're right here.
Right there.
Or you just wanted a tent.
I'm pretty sure we would take up the entire hallway with it, though.
So? Just decide to just go. That would be hilarious, though. We have like a big tent in the main courtyard thing. People think like a homeless person's living in our apartment. Like, no, we just wanted to camp out. Sorry. We live here. We pay rent.
Exactly. That'd be funny.
Shit.
But
Wedding
yes,
dream for
Emily
Canadian
movie
Spider-Man.
productions, aka Emily is Beth, and Beast 1624. Yes, we're still going. We've only been going for like 12 and a half minutes. So it is not that unreasonable. And thank you, Canadian Spider-Man. I had an amazing 30th with this guy right here. Got some amazing gifts. Oh, I should be wearing that one. It's in my backpack. Oh, it's in my backpack. I think it's in my backpack. Or I put it in the bag. I put it in the big bag with the necklaces.
Oh, I do not know what you did.
Obviously, I put them somewhere.
Oh, yeah, you gotta leave them.
Here. Okay, now is this the one? Is this the empty one? No. Yes.
Oh, there it goes.
Here it is, and there it goes. Okay. I can wear this again, so I will. Okay.
It's been a while.
You're her. Yay. So, the pendant was my birthday present from Jeff last year. And then we went up to Dion's for New Year's, and his nephew was, being a nephew and was, monkeying around and broke the chain, which is a very beautiful but very delicate rose gold chain that I absolutely adored and was devastated when it was broken because I'd only had this thing for like a month. I had worn it a ton in that time. And so for my birthday this year, perfectly, Jeff replaced the chain with an equally lovely rose gold chain. Now it is complete again, and now I get all right. So this guy's the best. I love him so much. He just knows how to make everything special. He really does. And we got a couple super chats here from Sir House Rounded. So thank you for giving Thirsty Thursday fun. Also, guys, get excited and spread it around because Raging Rhino is going to be joining us soon. Sounds like he did get off of work. He was popping in the chat. So as soon as he's ready, he's going to be joining us. He does have the link already. So we will be getting to some Mandalorian shit in a little bit. You guys seem to have a really great time with us doing that on Tuesday night. So spread the word around, get out to your friends, let them know we got Raging Rhino will be here. So if anybody was here on Tuesday, wanted to see a little more of that and was hoping Rhino could jump in on the conversation, that will be happening any minute now. We're very stoked. And yes, this is my true love here. This one first. So Ruben Vassaranda says, what would you think if they made a live action Ahsoka show? What would you think about a Luke Skywalker show post Return of the Jedi? I'll drink to that first because that answer requires a drink. Also, if you're just joining us, guys, I'll press the like button. Clearly, I think they're setting up for the Ahsoka live action show is a done deal. That they're setting up for it. I think the only purpose of having that episode in The Mandalorian was just to, line up her pilot, which is so stupid because that was never a thing before the Arrowverse, that you had to introduce a character before their show, before their own fucking pilot episode, because they don't fucking believe in these characters enough on their own. So it's gonna happen. What I called way back when they announced Leslie Headland was coming on, and then when they started announcing all these people that they were bringing to the show, was that Leslie Headland, her female-led show, was going to be this Ahsoka show, where she's running off chasing Ezra and Thrawn and all that, and especially given the last line that Ahsoka utters in the show, it sounds like that is very likely. So once again, it appears that when it comes to The Mandalorian, I am prescient. So if I make a prediction regarding this show in particular, I'm not always right about shit. I threw out a bunch of predictions about The Boys. Some of them came to fruition. Some of them did not. When it comes to The Mandalorian, I seem to get it right more than I don't. So it's kind of exciting. Luke Skywalker show post Return of the Jedi. Thing is, I don't think Mark Hamill is the right age anymore to do that, and I don't think it works without Mark Hamill. So
I know a lot of people keep seeing the Sebastian Stan meme pop up, and everyone's like, "Oh, it'd be just the same because he looks the same." But from certain angles, Alden Ehrenreich looked enough like Han Solo, and look what happened there. So I love the idea. Here's how I would do it: not live action. I would watch any Star Wars shit if you animated it. So why not give us the adventures of Han, Luke, and Leia post Return of the Jedi, Clone Wars style? That's the one question I've had my entire life as a Star Wars fan. You can't make more movies with the actors. That's fine. Why not make a cartoon forever? Because they keep making cartoons. They never put Han, Luke, and Leia in the shit. It's always the droids or secondary characters until you get to the Clone Wars.
It's true.
And now that the precedent's been set that your main Star Wars characters are animated as well, why not do that? You would get adults, you would get kids, you would get everybody on board. And you could, even if basic shit, Disney goes, we don't really have the resources to invest in the writing. Hire one writer to adapt every script that Timothy Zahn wrote and all the old EU shit. It had a natural progression. Treat it as the alternate timeline, as if The Force Awakens never happened.
Sure. I love it.
You can bank on that for a decade.
Oh, God, yes.
Give me a legitimate reason why they couldn't do it.
I can't think of one. Sharon Restaurant that says, also, happy birthday, Jesse. Thank you. I'm glad I got to hang out with you and Jeff this year. Also, one of the few positive things about 2020. Cheers to that. We were just saying the other day, you're one of the only fans we actually got to, meet and see in person this year.
Thank you for the dinner. I love Shake Shack. We ordered Shake Shack once. It was okay at takeout, but that was the best Shake Shack we had all year.
That was the best Shake Shack we had all year. That's the best Shake. That's some of the best Shake Shack I've had, period. We had a really good milkshake.
The messed up part was we assumed that because I had moved out here, we had reached the finish line. So it was like, oh, we're too tired to really party tonight with this dude, but we promised we'll be back. We had another tournament we were going to be back for.
Exactly.
So we were drinking. He was super nice. He was buying beers and stuff. And we were like burnt out from this weekend trying to keep up. And we're just like, yeah, we'll be back at this time. Come back. And then everything happened. So it sucks too, because it's like we should have annihilated ourselves.
We should have. If we had known that was going to be the only, chance really to see this guy and any fan, we would have definitely, stretched that night a little more. But I'm really glad we got to do it. I'm glad with what we got to do. We had a blast. It was memorable. Obviously, we still talk about it, So, and also like just little gifts for us as creators. We don't know who you guys are going to be until we see you and meet you. And not everyone is normal. So it's always just a joy when we get someone being like, hey, you want to meet up with us? And we'll read your emails and we talk to you. And we're like, this guy seems normal. He seems fine. I think we can trust him. But you always have that little bit of trepidation of like, he could be an axe murderer. And they show up and you're like, man, not only are you totally normal, but you're really cool too. Like you exceeded the baseline of like, please don't kill me. And like got all the way to like, wow, you're super chill. And I'd love to hang out with you again. And well beyond that, I'm like, hey, let me buy you guys dinner and drinks. So you were fucking
thank you for everything.
Aces in our book. Beth says, it's your cake day. I did not know that. It was on Saturday, actually, November 28th. It was officially my birthday. I turned 30. I was just MIA off in Big Bear with this Big Bear, my Big Bear.
Oh, God.
Doing naughty things.
I don't have a body hair to be a big bear.
Mm.
I'm also too straight.
My big.
It'll work. It's fun, okay?
My big.
Teddy bear.
Big.
All right.
And yeah, so it was fun. Thank you, I had esteem seeing that one in there too. Thank you guys. It was great. It was a really good one. But yeah, like I said, this was a great present. Just came in the mail yesterday. My little sister got me a tent. Wait, was that yesterday or was that earlier today? That was earlier today, wasn't it?
Because remember I went to go get breakfast?
Yeah. And it was like, do you have a box? You have a package? Yeah. So this just came today. Haha. Wait, go big boy or go home, super chat. What? Yeah, whoa. Okay, I thought I missed one. Tight. Thank you, chat. I love it. It's not even go big boy or go home who points out that we missed super chat. It's another member of the Mindless Mob looking out for each other.
Communities are awesome.
I fucking love you guys. A+ to you. Hi, go big boy or go home says, Jeff, did you bring enough kisses for all of us? I don't know, Sean. That's a question for Jeff.
All my kisses are for one. Sorry.
I get all the kisses.
Oh. We shouldn't drink this much before the streams.
No.
Wow.
Except I straight up did almost flash drunk 3PO earlier.
That was funny.
So that was hilarious. I was like, holy shit. Because I realized literally just before the point of no return. And like clearly he did too, because he was just like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know if he did or if he was distracted with something else, but I was like, oh my God, did he just notice? Because like you could almost not really see anything. But I was like, holy fuck, I literally just almost ripped my sweatshirt off on camera.
Yeah. If you're going to do it, make sure you do it live on your channel.
Right, clearly.
The super chats will roll in. Thanks, Jesse. Thanks, Jesse. You made me a man, Jesse. I may be 42 years old, but I became a man again.
I also love how eager Rhino is that he does not even wait like 20 seconds in the green room before getting the private chat and be like, I'm here. Don't worry, bro. I see you. And without further ado, guys, the one, the only, the man from the horrible, horrible place, fuck Victoria, Raging Rhino. Welcome back to Mindless Entertainment. Welcome back. Glasses tonight. That's a new one. And welcome back. How have you been, my friend?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Been working all day, kind of exhausted. I got off a little bit early just so that I could get here.
Yes. Oh, we love wearing you out. It's so fun for us. Are you going to be drinking with us tonight or not?
I am having a couple of drinks, at least, one for your birthday. Happy birthday, by the way.
Oh,
cheers.
Thank you. Cheers. I will drink for my birthday always.
I got a little bit of wild turkey here.
Nice.
But I won't be drinking too much because the next episode of Mando drops in like 2 hours.
Very true.
I got to review it and then get ready for my stream. So
damn straight.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Emily /Beth. Luke thought you were 35. Shame on him. Ooh, I will drink to that, but not quite.
Shame.
Mm-hmm. 007 Cloud says Jurassic Park stream when? Well, make sure you're here tomorrow, 2 p.m. We've got an awesome guest. Rhino saw a little bit of no, you didn't see a little bit of earlier. I forgot we weren't live earlier.
Mm.
You've been everywhere I've been. So remember on the matriarchy. Were you on the matriarchy yesterday? Yes. That guy.
No, I was in the chat.
Well, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Obviously, you weren't on the matriarchy. You're not a woman, dude. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
So, that guy that we were that was having some issues, some feelings, some fifis.
Yeah.
Turned out he has been making enemies in multiple circles for a long time now, and somebody who is a huge fan of the Fandom Menace and those channels happened to be watching the stream and sees this guy pop up and is like, "Holy shit, this is my nemesis! This guy's like the Moriarty to his Sherlock, and they've been going at it for like 5 fucking years." And so he reaches out to us. He's like, "Dude, I got dirt on this guy going back fucking years." So we realized, wow. There's these commonalities across all of these channels, of these same kinds of people popping out and plaguing us and doing the same kinds of things. He really is a great example of the way a lot of people are doing the same kinds of things. So we thought, what if we join forces and do a Conquer the Trolls stream in which we bring to everyone's attention, the types of people who are out there, the tactics they're using to try to bring you down, the way to identify who has good intentions and who doesn't, and how to just shut them down and shut them the F up when you encounter them. So this epic SmackDown.
That's a great idea. And that's brilliant.
I'm
Brilliant.
very excited. So
I just had my first Twitter spat on Twitter. I just had my first one ever. And basically I started getting called a gatekeeper. And I was explaining my point and they kept just quoting what I was saying. And I was like, just whatever in the end. You can't deal with these people.
Yeah, no, you can't. They don't make no sense.
Unbelievable.
To wrap back around to your question, 007 Cloud, this is the gentleman that inspired me to do a Jurassic Park stream because now I finally have enough people to talk JP with. So tomorrow we'll talk a little more shop on Jurassic Park and figure out when he's going to be coming back on to do that, and then hopefully find a time that will work for Dion as well to come on so we can all talk Jurassic Park together. So that's the answer to your question, 007 Cloud, which I will drink for now. Mm-hmm. And goodness, bunch of super chats to catch up before we dive into the topic.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just Steve says, Emily, how dare you? Oh, she's shaming you. It's fine, dude. No harm, no foul. I've never taken it as offense when someone thinks I'm older than I am. I've always looked at it as people give me credit for a sign of maturity. It's actually been frustrating on YouTube having people think I'm younger than I am because they talk to me a certain way, thinking I'm like, oh, just fresh out of college. Like, bitch, I've been around. I'm not like, I ain't old, but I'm not a spring chicken either. So I've never taken offense to that shit. I've never been pressured about did I stress for a second about turning 30?
Never even mentioned it. Besides it being your birthday, you didn't go on about the number.
Didn't give a shit. Sir Runabout Surrounded says maybe they could introduce Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian and see how the fans react before making a show for him. Well, that'd be par for the fucking course, wouldn't it?
Well, that would just be another cameo, another backdoor pilot that they just insert in there. Sorry, my opinions on Mandalorian are going to be very unpopular.
Hey, that they might be unpopular in the mindless mob or in the greater fandom menace community, but they may actually find a very, very happy home in this small crowd of three right here. But Lost Jedi 22 says, F off, Rhino. Ahsoka's lightsabers are blue.
No, they're fucking not.
So, I have a couple questions. I have a couple of lead-up questions before we get into today's topic for you, right? Mm-hmm. First one would be, how did you feel about Mandalorian Season 1?
I'm glad you asked me that because that's how I was going to start anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, Season 1 for me, I was disappointed that it was advertised as something that it wasn't. The fact that we weren't supposed to be getting Force users, we were supposed to see the underworld or the remnants of what's happened after the Empire's taken their massive hit, and the underworld of all of that. Again, like I feel like it did expand the universe bigger than the Disney trilogy did, but it's still very small. We keep going to the same planets. We're still revolving around that same sort of area. Season 1, it's funny, like episode 6, the prison episode.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favorite episodes because it returned back to what it was promoted to be.
Yes, exactly.
Right. And I've also found even with this season that every episode that Baby Yoda or Grogu isn't a part of seems to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Like single one that he's actually in or a main part of, it feels like filler. And like, it was so funny. Everybody was complaining about episode 6, the prison episode, being, this is a filler episode. To me, it was the best episode. It was what the whole thing was supposed to be about.
Exactly. So, that's the shit they showed you in the trailers. Think about the trailers they showed for The Mandalorian. That 90% of the footage was from that episode. They kept showing over and over again. Bill Burr's character, the Twi'lek smiling at you with her sticking her tongue out and all that. So much of what they teased for the show came from that episode. So you're exactly right on that. Hit the nail on the head completely.
So, and then to end the season the way that it did with like the Darksaber and stuff like that, yes, the Darksaber can be inserted in there because it's got to do with Mandalore. Like, I don't have necessarily a problem with that. Coming into season 2, though, sorry, did you want to ask me another question? That's pretty much my overview on season 1. The
follow-up would, of course, be
following into season 2?
Yeah. How did those opinions change coming into season 2?
Season 2 felt like the first 2 to 3 episodes didn't connect with the first season. Every episode has felt like a backdoor pilot for another character, and the Mandalorian has been a background character for every single episode. Cara Dune's overshadowed him. Bo-Katan's overshadowed him. Ahsoka's overshadowed him. Even the guy in Boba Fett's armor overshadowed him. Like every episode, he's being overshadowed by someone. He's a background character in his own story. That's how I sort of saw it. I hated episode 2. And it's so funny how this last episode that we had, it seems like everybody just, okay, Star Wars is saved now. This is awesome. And I was like, whoa, hold on a second. Take a step back for a second. Take off the fan goggles and just actually start asking some questions.
Yep.
I was saying in the chats, if Kathleen Kennedy keeps her job because of Mandalorian, I'm going to blame the fans because they're not asking the right question. They're just letting it go.
Thank you.
They're giving it a pass, and it just.
Thank you.
An unpopular opinion, but
I'll take it one step further. And I said this shit when episode of 3 came out, which is, if you're a Bo-Katan fan and a huge fan of of her in the lore, I could see how it makes sense that you'd be excited that she'd show up to tell the Mandalorian he's doing it all wrong, because to you he has been. You're a fan of this the one way, and that's the way it was presented to you previously, and that's in the universe. It's canon. So why are we suddenly doing it a totally different way? Doesn't make any sense. Thank God she's here to save the day. Sure, that's fine. That's great. But guess what? The percentage of fans who have a connection to Bo-Katan, who are watching The Mandalorian, is not the majority. I don't know what the actual number is, how big or small it may be, but I can guarantee you
same with Ahsoka. Same with Ahsoka.
Exactly. So just with Bo-Katan alone, you now have an episode where, once again, the woman who, if you're not a person who already knows the character, the female character that you have no connection to, no reason to care about, or no reason to know or trust how badass she is, literally just shows up to tell the man why he's been doing it wrong the entire time. And
not only that, how much of a damsel in distress was he when he got out of the water? He's like, the child, she just dives in, shoots this massive beast that happened to swallow the thing, gets the thing out. Like, why couldn't he jump in? I mean, he's got that fat ass blaster that can completely disintegrate things. I don't know. Again, there's people out there that like it, and it's okay to like it. But I'm sorry, I sit back and I just go, a lot of my reviews have actually been, yeah, this episode was good, this episode. But then it's almost like that Force Awakens thing.
Here's the thing.
Like, when you first watch it, it's the Force Awakens. When you step back and have a look, it's like, hold on a second.
Here's the thing with me too, even, is like, if you are suddenly okay with Star Wars and The Mandalorian, especially, the thing is, it's one thing if you're one of those people who's like, I get it has flaws, I just like Star Wars, and you've been on board with The Mandalorian, and you're still on board now that the Clone Wars characters are in here, or maybe more on board because you really like those characters. Totally fine, whatever. But if you're one of those people who has, hated every single thing from Disney Star Wars until now, and now all of a sudden, now they've done a live-action Ahsoka that you enjoy, now they've actually got Katie Sackhoff to play Bo-Katan in a live-action iteration, now you're on board, you are literally exactly what Kathleen Kennedy said you were. You were just pissed off because you didn't get what you wanted. And you whined and you cried and you bitched until you got exactly what you wanted, what you, the fan, felt like you were entitled to. And as soon as you got that, it was like sticking a pacifier in your mouth and you shut the fuck up. And that only makes you better than SJWs because they keep moving the goalposts. They never shut up. But you're just what she said she were. Back when they were attacking all the fans and said, yo, you're just entitled. You're just mad because your theory isn't the one that came true because you didn't get what you wanted. All that shit that Rian Johnson said, you're just making that true. If you're a person who was like, fuck all this, fuck Disney Star Wars, now all of a sudden, ooh, but Ahsoka, it's so pretty. I love Ahsoka. Fuck you. You're exactly what Rian Johnson said you are. And I'm not afraid to say that.
Can I just add to that and just say that she did a great job portraying Ahsoka, I thought. I feel like there's a few issues in there in regards to what she did and some of the decisions that she made in this episode that really isn't a part of Ahsoka's character. Like, it really skews away from what she knows and what she should be doing.
Yeah.
And I've got a whole point to make on that to show you, but
I want you to do that, but I want to read this real quick since Beth's going to sleep. She says, well, love you guys, but I must sleep. Kitten has been keeping me up all night. She's clingy and whiny, cute but frustrating at times. Night Bemily.
Emily.
Emma Beth.
Emily.
Hmm.
It just sounds like a mistake. That's why I like it.
I love it.
How did you guys feel about season 1?
We were fans. I agree with you on what you said, though, is that it did mislead us, and I felt like episodes 1 through 3 delivered on the promise, and that episode 6 did, and I thought the penultimate episode 7, I thought was even though it was centered around the climactic thing with Moff Gideon, that it's still good action, good suspense, good pace, all that stuff. But I do agree, way too much force use, way too much emphasis on that, the child and his ability, and the Emperor needing him for those abilities, and not enough of exactly what you said. And when we did get it, the thing is, I liked what we got. I know not everyone was happy with the callbacks or the nostalgia. I thought when they were doing that, outside of maybe the Tatooine episode, which got a little heavy-handed, I thought in general they were doing that well. They were calling back the right things. They were building a universe that I could believe happened after Return of the Jedi.
Can I ask, have you noticed any real faults in the music?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
In Star Wars doesn't really fit.
There was, I think it was episode 1, from this season. Or it's episode 2 when he's arriving at Tatooine, and the ship. Go back and listen to it. Just man, it's just whoa, this ain't Star Wars.
In the cave when they're running away from the spiders too. Oh my god, it was egregious.
Yeah.
007 Cloud. It's funny because we're talking about kind of talking about this as the Force Awakens, the new Force Awakens of Star Wars. 007 Cloud says, to me, Jurassic World was the Force Awakens of Jurassic Park. Fallen Kingdom was the TLJ of Jurassic Park.
Post cheers.
My unpopular opinion, though, and I will also say this as someone that I love Jurassic Park. I am not precious about its lore, possibly because I haven't read the books. I actually like Michael Crichton. I love Timeline. I think he's a great writer. I just haven't gotten around to it. But I love the movies. I'm a movie side of that stuff. So I don't feel as personally betrayed in the other ones. And I will say, unlike The Last Jedi, the Jurassic Park movies the Jurassic World movies are so much more watchable. And I'll even go so far as to say Jurassic World had some good fan service in it. Had some really good moments. I overall was pretty satisfied with it, but I understand 100% how you're saying it's the Force Awakens, because it really opens up a big fat can of worms. And I think Fallen Kingdom is the Last Jedi in the sense that, yes, it breaks the lore in ways that nothing else has done before, but I also don't think it's as egregiously bad as The Last Jedi, if that makes sense. And the flip of that is I still think we're in a place where they could make a good third one. It's so open where we've left things. I'm not going to do you. I know it came out ages ago, but Jeff still hasn't seen them. So
what?
The Jurassic World movies.
Those are the ones I don't want to watch.
It's fine. But
I just only
understand.
watch the first one, and that's about it for me. Maybe the second one.
Where they left the Fallen Kingdom, there is room to make a good third movie.
Is that the one where the government or people were bidding on the raptors?
Yes.
Man, okay, because I just remember I go to the movie all the time, and I would see that trailer nonstop. I was like, I will never watch this movie.
So that part to me is 100%. There's a lot about that movie that's super
Stupid.
No, logical. The whole premise in the beginning is that the volcano that's on this island is suddenly active now, and it's going to kill all the dinosaurs, and there's this big environmental push to try to get them off the island, but it's not, getting far enough because nobody cares about the animals. Which to me is sound, because there's always been a theme of conservation and environmentalism in Jurassic Park. So that part to me is sound. The idea that, some rich third party would buy them up to auction them to foreign nations as weapons also tracks for me. I'm like, of course, it makes total sense that the second that there's something like this, someone's going to try to weaponize it. Yeah, that all tracks. They add all the other shit that they add into it is where, to me, it gets really stupid. The kid and the new species again, which is like, once again, the same complaint about the first one. You have so many wonderful, unexplored actual dinosaur species, and yet you just build something new. And you've already built your super dinosaur, so now you're going to build a more super dinosaur.
Wait, excuse me, what? Dinosaur?
A super dinosaur.
I thought it was a dinosaur.
Dinosaur! Super dinosaur! In kitten. So I hear you, 007 Cloud. I hear you, is what I'm saying. So I'm going to read this one for Ninja Lair Steve, and then...
remember, folks, for all your Ninja Lairing needs,
call Steve. If you value your lives, don't check your emails, both of you. Worse than chain letters. Well, of course you picked my curiosity now. Oh no!
Should be a cake.
It should be a cake.
An octopussy.
Mm.
Strawberry shit cake.
I think I need to share these with the glass.
You do.
I drank for your super chat. Thank you, Ninja Lair Steve. I'm gonna need another one of these soon. So Ninja Lair Steve is a meme machine. He knows I hate puns, but how can I resist these adorable cat memes? We have strawberry shortcake. The cat. I had a strawberry shortcake scratch and sniff sticker as a kid that was stuck to my bedpost. It might still be there for all I know.
Did it stink?
It smelled like strawberry shortcake. Oh my god.
Yes.
Octopussy, so much pussy. So much pussy.
That's so good.
Oh my god, it's fucking good.
That's so scary.
Shit Pancakes all time high. Presents Shit Pancake as Ian Fleming's James Bond in Octopussy. Yeah, it's about me.
Yeah, 8 times of you.
Yeah, a lot of me. I fucking love it.
How's that channel going? How's Shit Pancake's channel going?
It's going really well. He's on hiatus right now. Well, he was on hiatus previously for other reasons, and then he was right when we were going to get back into productions. He's on hiatus because of his ear surgery, but his eye's almost back to normal, and I think he's in good enough spirits to work again. So we should be back to production. But yeah, no, his videos have all been doing really well. His channel's grows every time we put one out. So we're really excited about his future. As we read that one from Emily already, so we've just got those new ones, but we'll need more berserkers for that one anyway.
Oh yeah.
So Jeff, if you want to go grab those, but in the meantime, Ryan, I heard you start to say about how you already have some problems just with the way they've done Ahsoka in this one episode.
Yeah.
So I would love for you to elaborate.
Okay. At first, I had I watched it. I was sort of this was awesome when especially that opening scene where she's hiding in the shadows a bit. That was very, very cool to look at. But then again, I take a step back and I just think about that for a second, and also think about some of the dialogue that took place throughout the episode. Her referring to Anakin, not so much dropping the name, but she mentions about the connection and all of that kind of stuff. And I have a little bit of an issue there too in regards to why she didn't take the child. But let's just talk about the opening scene. She's hiding in the shadows and she's killing people. I don't think that's okay, she's not a Jedi. And I hate the fact that she didn't correct anyone in this to say that she's not a Jedi. But anyway,
if I can stop you for 1 second, though, I have never seen a single episode of Clone Wars or Rebels, and I know the trope that whenever somebody refers to Ahsoka as a Jedi, that she is constantly makes a point to let people know she is not a Jedi. Even I know that.
Yeah.
Please continue.
Now, on that premise, technically she could dabble in the dark side, right? If she's not a Jedi. But in saying that, with what she knows and what she said in this episode, she shouldn't be dabbling in the dark side whatsoever. She knows how tempting it can be and how much it can, sway a person's actions, right? Or feelings or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So the fact that she goes around and she's in the shadows and she's killing these people, I mean, she's got these people beat in a heartbeat. She knows this, right?
The thing
Instead
is,
of, go on.
also, what makes it worse is the thing is too with that is there should be one more of these, by the way.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, yeah. Anyway, the thing is about that too is as we find out at the end of the episode, she's doing all of this. She's slaughtering these guards to get to this woman to find out information. So it's not like she's on a revenge kick here. It's not like she's, trying to prove some kind of point or like punishing people for doing ill where you can at least justify some gray Jedi area shit. Like she's just murdering people so she can get to this woman so she can pump her for information. Like,
Correct.
And that is, you're right. That is not consistent with the person who in the same episode wants to turn around and go, I will not risk letting this child turn to the dark side.
Now, that's not to say that she can't kill people. Like, yes, there comes a time where I think the killing of an enemy is inevitable, right? But in that case, she wasn't overwhelmed. She had them beat and everything. So the fact that she kills these people, I started thinking about it and going, okay, so she's sort of turning to the dark side a little bit. Now, a few people have come back to me and gone, she has killed other, you could say, sentient being, living beings as opposed to just droids and all of that sort of thing. But I think it's so funny. I was listening to this book, and this is just what. Do you reckon? Can I play 20 seconds of an audiobook? Do you reckon?
Probably. I don't think audiobooks usually. I mean, if it's uploaded on YouTube somewhere, then I don't. It just all depends on whether or not that is uploaded anywhere. So
It's up to you. Can I play it?
You can play 10 seconds and then stop and play 10 more seconds.
Okay. So this is the book Shadow Hunter. It's the Darth Maul book. It basically takes place just before or during episode 1. Okay. Now, Obi-Wan comes into the picture in this story, and I'm not going to give anything away for anyone who hasn't read the book. So you can go and read it. It's a great book, by the way. It's like Terminator of Darth Maul's unbelievable in this. Anyway, but Obi-Wan comes into the story and he basically gets attacked, right? And this is the conversation that sort of takes place between the leader of the people that attacked him and Obi-Wan. Hold on, let me make sure I got my volume turned up.
Perry led Obi-Wan down a short flight of stairs and along a corridor, apologizing as they walked. Sorry about the rough stuff, but we had to be sure you really were a Jedi. The fact that you didn't even have to harm any of our boys speaks for itself. The Jedi are known, after all, for valuing life.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear that okay?
Yeah, perfectly clear. Perfectly.
Okay.
It's funny. It almost sounds like they're trying to make the voice sound vaguely like Liam Neeson.
I love the voices in the audiobooks. You can really immerse yourself into the story.
I've heard there's some really, really good theatrical ones, but
really
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
But again, they're Jedi are known for valuing life. Now, I understand that these are bad people, but it's not to say, again, Ahsoka wasn't beat. She knew she had him. She could tie him up. She could.
I mean, that was like a whole theme in the prequels of like Attack of the Clones and the struggles between Anakin and Obi-Wan, was Obi-Wan trying to educate Anakin about how it's not we're not the judges, we're not here to call the shots or make the decisions and cast the judgments and whatnot. That's like, and you're also casting like that was something I almost thought they went too far with this. Because they were clearly trying to go for a more wise, older, mature Ahsoka. I thought they went a little too far in pushing for like a more muted performance. I thought we could have seen a little more life out of Rosario Dawson. And actually, one of my biggest complaints was that there was too much CGI compositing on her face. They didn't let her face show through enough. I
still think she did a great job, though.
I really wanted a little bit more of a spark. Like I wasn't mad per se, but I wanted, and it's maybe that's also just a thing of I was expecting something different. So I'm not upset or mad or whatever. Maybe I was just expecting something slightly different. But that's the point, though. Like this more, wizened, mature Ahsoka. It's the image they're trying to present of her. Also, already is somebody who has a documented history of not wantonly killing people, of valuing human life and stuff like that, or sentient life,
Correct.
stuff like that. That it seems very odd that the older, mature, more wise version of her would be just randomly slaying people for information.
Especially with what she says later on in the episode, referring to Anakin. I just want to say, somebody said in the chat, who says Jedi don't kill? I'm not saying Jedi don't kill, but it's definitely all comes down to defense. And like the way that she goes about that is a little out of character in my eyes. It's a little out of character for Ahsoka because she's sort of gone. It's dark. It's not something that I would see Ahsoka doing. But then it evolves even more when Mando goes into the forest. Yes, he may have agreed to go and kill Ahsoka, but his intention and that vibe that Ahsoka would get from him isn't to kill, because he's been sent there by Bo-Katan to find Ahsoka. He didn't have any intention of going out there to kill her, even if he made an agreement to go and kill her, right? Yeah. Now he puts the child down, and her automatic reaction is to attack a Mandalorian from behind, who's no threat, does not have his blaster raised whatsoever. Mm-hmm. And again, 5 years earlier, if not even closer than that, she was working with Mandalorians based on Rebels and based on Clone Wars. She's worked with Mandalorians.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus she does. Yeah. Plus we do get a surprised reaction from her when he tells her he was sent to kill her. So it's fair to say that she didn't pick up on that. That's something she didn't realize, beforehand. Like, we have evidence to suggest that she didn't suspect he was there to kill her. So why? I don't
know. Am I way off? How did you guys feel about this? I guess this episode.
Number one complaint. Where did the CGI budget go?
It looked bad.
Yeah,
it looked cheap. You could also see, like, it took me a while to decide if it was supposed to be a design or not. But I'm fairly convinced now that the tentacle things, that was just creases in the foam they used to make the headpiece. Like,
I did notice that too.
That's cheap. Like, you're talking about the flagship Star Wars show that even on whatever budget, I'm sure the budget for season 1 was way less than season 2 because you didn't have all this attention and eyes on it and shit like that. It looked so much better than that episode. That was a huge complaint for me. For it kind of dovetails into this super chat from Sir Ruin of House Roundhead, who says the bar for Star Wars has been set so low by the sequel trilogy that The Mandalorian looks much better than it actually is. I do think it's a very fair thing to say.
But the problem is nobody's willing to even take a step back and take a look at it because it is the best that they're going to get.
Exactly.
So they're kind of like, okay, cool, let's just deal with it.
Well, people get selfish. People get inherently selfish at the end of the day.
Get down.
And Pancake, you get off. You get off, you. Off. Pancake, get off. Come
on. Ahsoka also, like, when she's talking to the Mandalorian about, the connection, and like, she won't train him because his connection is really strong with the Mandalorian. But yet he's been trained by Jedi. Like, how do you feel about that? Him surviving Order 66? Like, obviously he had to because he's 50 years old, but like the way they explained his Force abilities, basically.
I think tying every aspect of Star Wars together is detrimental.
I agree.
I think so
Because I don't care how much better certain things look like by comparison. There are certain elements from the prequels and the sequels that have marred the image of Star Wars. No matter how much people want to act like, oh, it's this pristine thing now because of hindsight. So I think everything like that hurts it.
The only thing I like about that detail is just having a justification for why he can use the Force. And like, well, that one thing is good because it is stupid. He should be just naturally Force sensitive. However, that detail makes so many more things more stupid that it doesn't really help in the long run. For example, if he was being trained in the Force, you'd think his like at some point he understood language better than he does now. That's not a thing you just forget. Like he's been living in a cave with no one to talk to. There have been people using, words around him all 50 of those years, presumably. There's no reason why all of a sudden now he can't understand things like, hey, lift this rock. Or also, once again, the beginning of the episode prior to this, he is seeming to understand a fair amount of the commands the Mandalorian's trying to give him working on the engine, but all of a sudden, take the rock is too fucking difficult. So there's no consistency in how they're treating his character. Just like in that's the one thing that's very consistent with Disney Star Wars, though, is there's no consistency in how they treat any of the lore, any of the Force, any of the plot elements in Star Wars. They're all just devices for these people. Easy ways out. Ooh, let's invent a new Force power to solve a problem that we wrote ourselves into because we're not smart enough to write ourselves out.
Yeah. So. Well, the child in with the Force healing thing has to be as a part of a dyad because they've now written that into canon, saying that the reason why Rey and Kylo could do that was because it was the only way was because they were a dyad. So that means that the child has to be a dyad with someone.
That's true.
Has to be.
Fucking hell. And the Baby Yoda too. The girl. Oh my God, she's even cuter. Yeah.
They keep creating more holes. That's the problem. Like they keep trying to fill this hole because they hear what the fans say. Oh, how can the child use all these Force abilities without any training? So they explain it by giving us the Coruscant thing and him being rescued from Order 66. But then now we got more holes, even with what Yoda says.
It's almost like they're trying to plug a dam, but to get the materials to plug the dam, they're just chipping away at other parts of the dam. So it's like, oh, we got a brick from here to plug it. Oh shit, there's a bigger hole over there now. Like
they're writing it as they go.
It's falling apart at the seams. Lost Jedi 22 makes a great point, and this goes right back to Rhino, what you were saying earlier about your complaints about season 1. 13 chapters, 3 bounties, counting grunt goo. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, about a bounty hunter. He ain't doing his. We're supposed to believe once again. You're telling me he's this great bounty hunter. He's so skilled. He's the greatest at his job in the whole fucking galaxy. And when I see him is someone who's trash at their job because they don't fucking do it. There's only so long you can tell me he's great before you got to show me doing his goddamn job. Same thing. Oh, Beskar. It's so rare. It's the rarest metal. It's great. He gets a new fucking piece of it every goddamn episode.
Yeah. Or we find a new piece of it somewhere.
Stop throwing it in my face. Exactly.
Yeah. But I also find that this series doesn't know what it wants to be. It's like, okay, are you a Western? Ryan Kennel said it perfectly. I got to give him credit for this. Is it a Western or is it John Wick? Like, what is it? What do you want to be? Like, we have one episode. It just doesn't seem to flow well at all.
Is it?
I don't know.
It's really tugging more into wanting to be a Kurosawa film. And there's a huge problem I have with this episode too. Probably my biggest problem with this episode of all, which is made just worse by all the people trying to say, oh, he's trying to shoot it like a Kurosawa film. He's trying to go for Kurosawa. Just demonstrates to me how poorly Dave Filoni understands Akira Kurosawa. And before I get into that, I need a drink, so I'll read the super chat from Anthony Sholey. He says, I'm on the Twitch now. Your channel is cool. Thank you, Anthony Sholey. We're still working out the kinks with the new. I guess
he's enjoying the Indiana Jones game.
I guess so. We will be on there doing Halo tomorrow. Whether or not we have audio or video, we'll figure it out. But we will definitely be on there playing Halo tomorrow afternoon after our Conquering the Trolls stream coming at you 2 p.m. Me, that Star Wars girl, awesome new YouTuber called AK Rex.
Just quickly before you go off on your rant with the final fight, because I know you got plenty to say about it. The first thing the first thing that I thought when I saw the scene was Mortal Kombat. Like, it was literally like, let's get ready to fight. Like, sorry. Anyway, you go. Yeah. It was a bad fight.
It was so. Here's the fucking thing, and this is something too that's actually been a joy for me to discover as someone who fell into the trap early on in fencing, which is easy to do as a teenager coming to a sport that has a lot of stigma. It's not a real sport. It's not a real athletic activity. Only nerds do it. It's not cool. It's not real sword fighting. So you're getting it from all sides. So you're used to fighting everyone. It's better than all the Eastern martial arts. It's better than all the medieval ones. It's better, okay. All of them have their merits and they're wonderful. And so when I finally dropped all that shit and started learning more and more about Eastern martial arts, I started to realize the beauty of the swordsmanship in it, and how that is that element, that the beautiful dance of sword fighting is Western fighting gets it from Eastern. Eastern fighting invented this shit. Storytelling through the sword is an Eastern thing, and that's what I love. And the thing, beautifully, that's what I love about Western sword fighting. That's what I love about movies that feature Western sword fighting. All the swashbuckling movies, Errol Flynn and whatnot. Those movies tell the story via the sword. The battle, the epic battle, still one of the great movie sword fights in the end of Robin Hood with whatchamahoozle, Errol Flynn and Basil Rathbone, and their brilliant fight at the end, and very little dialogue, all fighting, and from that the movie wanted something in there. Came the exchange of the Basil Rathbone lamenting that Errol Flynn always was the leading man, and he was always why am I always the B character, the villain, this, when I'm the better fencer? Everyone knows I'm the better swordsman. And Errol Flynn's famous reply was, yes, but I have better thighs. And that couldn't be more true when you put him in tights. Any hoozle, I digress. The point is, sword fighting tells story, and the progenitor of storytelling via fighting is Akira Kurosawa in his samurai films, which of course has a heavy influence on Star Wars. And you see the narrative of the fight in all of Lucas's movies, with the exception of Revenge of the Sith, where he still keeps the narrative through the fight. He still tells a good fight in those movies, he loses the artistry of the sword in that one. But you come to the Disney sequels, no concept of this. You have a fight scene in The Last Jedi that you actually have people saying looks cool. When you take an extra look at it and you have characters throwing the spear away to get stabbed, you have a character getting down on his knees to get beheaded for Kylo fucking Ren. It's bullshit.
There's got no sense of using the Force though in these fights. Like exactly. There's no Force powers being used in any of it.
Exactly. And that's the art. That's the true. That to me is like where even though I like the original trilogy fights the best, where it becomes real art is Duel of the Fates, because Lucas figures out how to integrate all his fancy CGI with his Force use into the fight and make it this seamless dance, and it all works because he's relying on once again, Lucas works when he has something grounded in reality. So his spins and flips and all that are all grounded in the actual motions of Ray Park, who's an incredible physical actor and martial artist. So that all fucking works. It's a beautiful dance that tells a story. And you get to this, and what I said, what I'll say before, you have the Akira Kurosawa, a wide shot, establishing shot with this very picturesque, artistic framing, the reflection in the water onto the stone bridge. Everything's very nicely framed up, very symmetrical. And in a traditional samurai film, even the crappy ones, you will hold on that wide shot for the duration of the fight, minus any inserts, close-ups, typically a near miss with the blade, a nick with the blade, a particularly impressive move they want to show in slow motion, special to play with the camera angles and stuff like that, because that's also, by the way, the artistry of the camera angle with sword fighting. Once again, the Japanese are the masters of that one, because just the dance of it. For whatever reason, it's so well understood in their culture that they're able to integrate all the pieces, and it's this beautiful dance. Meanwhile, you have the Bourne Identity effect happening on this fight scene, where it's all right, 2 seconds of wide shot. Now they start fighting. It's cut, swing, arc. Oh, 2 more seconds of wide shot, and we're done. Like, what the fuck happened?
But the swings.
I remember is doing this a whole bunch. It doesn't even look good.
But the swings are also like, bang, let's just pause here for a second. Okay, bang, let's just pause here for a second. And there was the bit where they were walking like this, and they weren't really saying anything to each other. They're just, I don't know.
This might be the product, though. Remember what everyone during the production of The Mandalorian touted. We can do our CGI on the set. We can see exactly how the show is put together. They rush this shit. That's why this episode's so shitty. They rush it because they're so enamored with this new technology and this new way to produce the show that they're doing all this crap and they're not actually. They're making the show a demo reel, which is what the prequels were essentially.
The other side of that coin is Gina Carano, and as much as to an extent, Mandalorian still took a sidecar seat in episode 4. I still think that's one of the better episodes of the entire show because you have this great pace. You have Baby Yoda put in his place as comic relief over here, and you have this great rollicking pace. You have moments that are paid off, seeing the speeder bikes and when they infiltrate the facility and having that chase scene at the end, having this big reveal of what we actually need the child. That to me is like, now we're back in world, right?
Yeah.
Because once you sort of realize, okay, these aren't Snow. I was worried, these are going to be our fucking Emperor clones and shit. No, they're trying to build these force sensitive super soldiers. Okay, now we're back in world, paying off our setup from the first season. Yeah. Now we're back in the message. Now we're back. Okay, I could be okay with a noir-esque mystery weaving its way into my rollicking Western that works. And once again, my action looks right because Favreau, when he's in control of the ship, goes out and hires Gina Carano. Why? Because she's a fighter. Because she can physically do what's being asked of her. And Favreau comes and tells fun stories at Star Wars Celebration of being off working on Marvel shit and coming back to set, seeing the actors who should not have been doing their own stunts hung up in these rigs going, no, guys, get down. We got to keep you safe. Because the actors were that excited to be doing their own stunts. Rosario Dawson didn't do jack shit for that fight scene. Which the sad part is she can, and she's willing to. The same thing, and that's the biggest shame was when I found out on the High Council that the other woman in this fight scene is a master of martial arts and a fight choreographer. And what the fuck are you doing going out and hiring this fight choreographer to do this incredible scene if you're not going to fucking utilize her? If you just want arc, a child could have choreographed that. A retard did choreograph it clearly because it was one of Kathleen Kennedy's lackeys.
Well, see, with that episode that you were talking about with Cara Dune, that episode is actually a good episode, very action-packed, and the pacing's fantastic in it. It's probably one of the best paced episodes out of all of them, to be honest. Absolutely. The amount of montages of traveling we get is just ridiculous.
And it's the shortest.
It is.
That's right. The longest episode, we get 4 montages of them actually just traveling and no dialogue takes place. Anyway, and that's the longest one. The biggest problem, though, with this season is I'll scratch your back if you scratch my back first. It's a video game. It literally is. You get to the next level, it's like, yep, you get your boss level. All right, cool, we beat the boss. It's just like... I don't know. I think about episode 1, and okay, it looked good and all of that kind of thing. But Boba Fett's armor, is he going to risk his life to kill a crate dragon for Boba Fett's armor? Man, he'd just kill him. A normal Mandalorian would just kill him, take the armor.
Right. It was just, by the way, something that we established in the first season, that Mandalorians feel a sense of entitlement to their armor, their stuff, and that if you have it, they will just kill you and take it. So it's not consistent with the lore you set up to do that, even though that ultimately sets up a solid episode.
Yeah.
That Casey fan says Jeff always wears the best shirts. Jeff is strong. Thanks, that Casey fan. We love you. The other thing about this most recent Ahsoka episode, though, Ryan, I don't know if you watched my Rise of Skywalker review, but I had my my little friend from Staples, my easy button that I kept hitting. That was easy.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just fucking like that. Oh, what has he been on the quest for this entire goddamn season through 5 episodes? To find the Jedi. He's been told he's supposed to go find the Jedi, take this kid to the Jedi. So he's on a fucking quest. Well, originally to find the Mandalorians, but to find the Jedi, right? So stated mission to go find where I'm taking this child to. And literally there's no action, there's no agency anymore. He's just become Rey, where he just bounces along and the next person tells him where to go and the next person tells him where to go. Now he's not even on a mission anymore, too. That's the other problem we're getting to, right? But first of all, you got to find the Jedi, you got to find the Jedi, you got to find the Jedi. Where are the Jedi? Where are the Jedi? Here, they're on this crap-ass planet that has almost nothing on it. So great, you go land near the one settlement, fine. You go walk up to the one settlement, fine. You get invited to see the magistrate immediately, who immediately tells you exactly where to go find the one person you're looking for, because that was fucking easy. And and now we're also to point to, okay, you finished your stated objective. Since you decided you're going to run off with this kid, you finished your stated objective of bringing him to his, of getting where you want to go. Now, and it feels like ever since he met Bo-Katan too and found the Mandalorians like he set out to do, he doesn't even have a mission. He is literally just going where the next person tells him to. What do I do now? Oh, go here and talk to those people. Okay. We'll go here and talk to that person. Okay. We'll go to this temple and sit him on a rock and some magical things will happen. And it'll magically summon the next person who will magically tell you what to do next. Like, great. Wow. This is just the rise of fucking Skywalker all over again.
Throughout all of this, have you ever felt like there's been any stakes? Like, do you ever feel like the Mando is at risk, or like
that? By the way, is exactly what we said about the episode 4, and part of what made it so good is you had actual stakes because they brought along that guy who was an endearing,
the blue guy
who we already have a connection to, so he's endearing enough that we don't want him to die. But he's expendable enough that we feel like he could. And then even Carl Weathers' character, who is like, 80-20, not going to die, there's still somewhat of a chance that he could, as opposed to Cara Dune and the Mando, who are never in any trouble. So that for me, it was like part of what made that episode so good was you had
where was the child during that entire episode?
Nowhere to be seen. Exactly like I said, fucking off in a comic relief role where he belongs. And then what else does he do? He has his little roller coaster ride, hands in the air with the puking at the end. Perfect for him. That's exactly where he belongs in the show, having these cute little awe moments of comic relief, and then we move right along. It was the perfect use of it. And the thing is, I watched this episode. We watched that episode. Was that the one that I said I bet Favreau wrote it?
But yeah, we literally cheered when it ended because we're like, Carl Weathers,
because we were blown away. Yeah. Who wanted to direct it? But I called watching. I'm like, I bet you Favreau wrote this one because this feels like what his intention was for the whole show, and it was. It was fucking right. And if Carl Weathers, some guy who's been on this project since day one, who probably knows exactly what Favreau's vision is, as the director, it just makes sense. As to why this episode of all the ones in season 2 feel the most on track to the show's stated objective, as opposed to the last one where we get into it and Jeff says, I bet you Dave Filoni directed this one. And I say, I bet you Dave Filoni wrote this one. What happens? Credits roll. We're both fucking right. And that's a problem. If we're able to do that, that's a problem. If we're able to see, looking at these issues going, ew, all of these problems speak to Dave Filoni. If you have someone with this much influence on your Star Wars who has this much of a negative footprint on it, it's a fucking problem.
Mm-hmm. I have to ask you guys, in episode 1 and episode 2, we get 2, in my eyes, really ridiculous moments where the Mandalorian speaks Tusken and the lady in episode 2 speaks Frog. Now, the point that I want to make in regards to that is both of those creatures understand Basic or English, because at the end of what Mando's saying, he's like, how do we kill it? And he's sign languaging, but he speaks in English and they understand him. So he doesn't need to be sitting there speaking in the whole time. But also
we have, again, heavy precedence in the Star Wars universe that just about fucking everybody understands Basic. That you got to get pretty ass into nowhere to find people who just straight up don't understand Basic. Not everyone speaks it. Not everyone's got the vocal cords for it. But very few areas in the Star Wars universe do you encounter people who just don't understand.
Don't understand. That's right. And if you do go there, usually you've got a translator droid. But the other thing too with the Frog Lady, I mean, the Frog Lady understood Mando when he asked her to grab the handle and pull it back when he was doing the landing thing, right? And he was just talking in Basic. But yet he asked the mechanic lady to ask her where she's going or whatever, and she turns and speaks to, again, I look at these things. I see these things and I go, well, look, it's a minor nitpick. It's a small little thing. But it was ridiculous. We didn't have any subtitles for a good 2 minutes of that first episode where they're sitting around the campfire talking Tusken. I'm thinking, what am I watching here?
It's like a holiday special where they're fucking talking Wookiee with no subtitles.
Oh, man,
it sounds that retarded. It does. Every time they do it, it sounds that retarded. Stop making them speak these fucking languages. Like, yes, it makes sense to me that the Mandalorian would understand Tusken. It makes no sense to me that he would go. That's just
he's speaking it.
stupid. Also with the frog lady, like I was so thrilled when she finally hooks herself up to the droid and is fucking talking. I'm like, oh my god, finally she's a character and not just no, that's just a gimmick for one scene so she can load on the exposition and then we can just go right back to exactly the way things were before for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Like, and also to me, the whole like, oh, anyone can speak these languages, to me, demonstrates the xenophobia and at the heart and core racism and bigotry of the people writing these things because they don't understand the whole point, which is that using animalistic qualities, these other races become allegories for actual other races, other people, aliens, literally, one-to-one there. And part of that, it's like, it all goes back into things like animal science too, where, for a long time, people thought animals weren't as smart as we were, couldn't communicate like we were because they don't have the same vocal cords. Well, they communicate in a lot of other fucking ways that we can't, and we don't understand. And so part of the beauty of the design of the Star Wars universe is there are so clearly bizarre creatures with anatomy so far off from human that their vocal cords can make these sounds that a normal human shouldn't be able to. Yeah. And that was the fun of creating those sounds back in the day. You hear the stories. These are all guys hanging out in the sound booth, playing with electronic noises and just shit they can make, sounds they can make with their voices, probably all fucking high on coke, bouncing off the walls going, hey, listen to this. But that organic realness comes out in that in a way that feels artificial and manufactured when you're like, oh, my hero character can speak any language. He's a rainbow man. He speaks the language of all the alphabet people. Or then it sounds contrived and retarded. This is the fundamental point that, you can't fundamentally, physiologically speak that language, but just because you can't doesn't mean it's not as complex and rich and whatever nuance as your own.
Well, we're not allowed droids anymore either, right, Solo? Because they're slaves. Droids are slaves now.
Apparently. Now individuals.
People don't make them to help them, fix things and translate.
The morality of robot rights has been a sci-fi conundrum since the invention of the concept of the robot. It's been a fun puzzle.
So monotonous because it's a machine. It's like your washing machine.
Some people are into it. Some people are not. But the point is that it's a thing. It's an ongoing. It's one of the ongoing debates in nerddom. It's like if all of nerddom was a Reddit, one of the ongoing forums is gonna be should robots have rights? Along with is Star Trek versus Star Wars. And so for Star Wars to come in and have for fucking Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy have the nerve to try to have the definitive answer on that question. Yes, robots are people too, and they have the same rights and want the same kind of social justice that humans. I'm sorry, but you have not been the definitive authority on fucking anything. Ever. Less than anything related to Star Wars, less than anything related to nerd culture. And certainly not the end-all, be-all definitive answer on one of the ongoing existential questions in nerddom. Sorry, no. You're not that clever. You're not that smart. You're not that good at your fucking job. The end.
Just on the droids thing in Solo, are you telling me that when they remove the restraining bolt, this droid has been programmed to get on the bench that it's just been working on and start doing a dance? Because the only reason why it would do that if it was programmed to do that. Anyway, sorry, I know I went, that's Solo. Solo lost money.
We got Claude Stork who says Robin Williams got right in Bicentennial Man. I still haven't seen that movie, but I will drink for it.
I will watch that movie again. I saw when it was new.
By the way, this is delicious.
The gin highball?
Yeah.
Did you know that there's a new thing out there called semi-bisexual?
What?
Yeah, semi-bisexual. Look it up. It means that you're bisexual, but you're only attracted to one gender.
Look
it up. I'm dead serious. They've made it.
People are that stupid today, but that's
so basically it means that you're straight or gay, so.
What?
But you're semi-bisexual. So you two are both semi-bisexual. because you're about to say, look it up. Dead serious. So funny.
How?
Are you reading it? Yeah. Get that around your brain. Oh, I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I'm coming to.
What? I don't understand. Let's see. Explaining semi-bisexuality. Let's see. Let's see. I see a lot of people confusing heterosexuality or homosexuality with semi-bisexuality, which can be really offensive. Semi-bisexuality is bisexuality, but with attraction only to one gender. This means that as a man who
Oh god damn it, I read that. That is eye cancer. Wow.
attracted only to a woman, I am semi-bisexual rather than heterosexual, making me part of the LGBTQ plus community. I hope you understand.
I don't understand, motherfucker. What they mean.
Semi-bisexual folks need special protections.
They found a way to make us all a part of that the alphabet community.
Since they're often mistaken for homosexuals and heterosexuals, meaning they have a hard time fitting in. I'm sorry, it's really difficult for all those equilateral, equiangular parallelograms out there who don't want to define as squares, even though their definition is literally a fucking square. So fuck you. Fuck you and die. Anyone out there who identifies as a semi-bisexual, fuck you, fall off a cliff and die. I don't have time for you. I'm sorry, I don't. Tolerance, patience, whatever. There are very few things. Like, if you are a trans person, I need to know who you are before deciding whether you are a trans person or an asshole trying to masquerade as a trans person for oppression points. If you're a gay person, a whatever person, any one of these other identities, I will give you a fair shake. But if you want to come to my ass and tell me you are fucking semi-bisexual, fall in a well, sleep on train tracks, just fucking take yourself out of the gene pool, because we, the human race, cannot afford that level of stupidity. We cannot. It all started when the US started printing warning may contain peanuts on bags of fucking peanuts. That was the beginning of the fucking end. And from that moment on, it's just been this endless torrent of catering to stupidity in society, to catering to the lowest bottom denominator, when we should let them follow each other like lemmings of a goddamn cliff. We should let them fucking drown in each other's fucking stupidity, because that's all they're fucking good for. Instead, no, we give them rights. We give them special protections. We allow them to fucking procreate. Hell, we encourage them to fucking procreate. Then we let them sit on their asses whining about how fucking oppressed they are because they were born into their upper middle class upbringing and are too lazy to work their way after college back into a comfortable upper middle class upbringing. So they sit on their asses crying about oppression, gaming the system because they need protection and all this shit. Meanwhile, I'm throwing crackers. The rest of us are getting fucked and nobody's happy. Because they're trying to get the world to bend and cater to them, and they'll never be happy. So why the fuck is anyone catering to people who'll never be happy? Meanwhile, if we just ignored these people and shut them the fuck up, all of the rest of us would be happy. All right. Let me see.
Well said.
So I can drink. Go before I go home says L3 was Anita Sarkeesian as a droid. Kill me now. It fucking was. The appropriately tiny tits. Albatross Flight says just make robots like dogs, smart enough to follow orders, but not enough to want to uprise. I don't know, Albatross Flight. I think dogs are smarter than that. That's actually a great Kurt Vonnegut short story that I won't spoil for you. It's called Albert Einstein's Dog, I believe. Or Albert Einstein. Yeah, I think it's called Albert Einstein's Dog. Great fucking story. If I'm a dog and I'm smart enough to realize human beings are going to take good care of me, I'm looking at animal abuse as an acceptable risk. And I'm talking to my doggy friends and going all in on this man's best friend shit. I'm lying in front of a hearth, eating snacks, getting fed grain-free meals, gourmet shit all day long. Hell yeah. I'm taking the gamble of ending up in a family like my parents, the way they take care of dogs, over ending up in like a dog fighting ring. I'll take that fucking gamble as dog. I think they made the right call there.
Hello, this is Doug.
This is Doug. Anywhoozle. Yep. So those are the things that I wanted to say.
Sorry, we can bring this back around to Mando if you want. I just thought you'd be interested to know that there's a new thing out there.
No, I love it. Whatchamacallit, I am gonna do a stream at some point though, because I have to. It's gotta be like a bunch of really talky people, so people who can keep up with us, and a solid panel. And like I explained, the whole gimmick will be we'll pick random topics, we'll pull them from the chat or whatever, and we'll all get going on a conversation. And we'll do something like after 30 seconds of getting into the conversation. Now Rhino gets to come in and see how quickly he can make it about Star Wars.
Yeah, I like it.
I love it. I think it's so good.
I can swing everything to Star Wars.
I know. That's why it's like did you ever play the Wikipedia game? Where Wikipedia, I love those. Where someone gives you 2 words, so you start on one page, you got to only follow the links to get to the next page. It's like that, but everything comes back to Star Wars.
Yeah, I like it.
Klausaric says that happens when there's no electroshock therapy. Maybe we should bring that shit back. So you're saying shouldn't start a Barbot mitzvah money left on the table.
We should do a Karate Kid stream, Jeff.
I had this conversation with Jesse the other day, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get together. I actually brought you up.
Yeah, I believe you were already on the list.
We need to do that.
People doing it.
You've watched Cobra Kai, right?
I've only watched the first season. I got to get her caught up so I can catch up.
Dude, that second season is so good.
I'm so
man. I can't wait for the 3rd season. It's so funny about bringing things back to Star Wars. I compare The Mandalorian to Cobra Kai because every episode I'm so excited for Cobra Kai. Like every episode, it's like, yeah, give me more. And then Mandalorian's just like, meh. Like I can take that or leave it, really, at the end of the day. And as you can tell, I'm a massive Star Wars fan.
Obviously.
But yeah.
Cobra
Kai's awesome. Like, I can't say anything. Like I want to say so much, but Jeff hasn't seen season 2, so I can't say.
I'll get caught up so that we can all talk about it. But no, it is nice to have things to be excited about since Star Wars is not one.
It is.
It really is. And I was talking earlier about how Jeff and I just going back to a lot of old stuff. A lot of stuff that we just never got around to when it was on, or just old stuff too, classic things. Where we're having fun, seeing how some classic movies have been upscaled into 4K. So, how
awesome does Jaws look?
Jaws looks pretty fucking dope, and we've just been glancing at it. We haven't even committed to the full watch through yet. Jeffrey Turner, it's Jeffrey Turner tonight. Says I'll wear my Cobra Kai jacket during the watch. Cheers, Jeffrey Turner.
Nice.
Cheers. So we met Billy Zabka at our first horror hound that we worked as a channel.
Nice.
Everyone's just tooling around these conventions. They're really not hard to meet. If you just, there's a trick too to like getting free stuff from it too.
Yeah, you've mentioned.
Yeah,
gotta make him really believe that you care about him.
That and like, pick your battles.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because the bigger names tend to be the ones that are more money focused. But it's like the people you've never heard of. They'll just sit and talk your off. But that's why I buy shit from people I don't know if they're nice to me, and if like a big name is looking for money, it's like, dude, I know you're worth a couple $1 million, and I don't even like the movies you're in. Dude is here because he kind of needs to be, so I'm gonna buy a fucking autographed Reanimator T-shirt or something from this guy just so he can, go home and eat.
That's fun. I like that. That was how I felt. I bought one. It's cool too. I gotta find where it is. As I felt when I was at that little tiny con in up in Michigan. It was really fun. It was cool being a guest somewhere. I was a special guest. Super really cool people there too. What was I gonna say?
Was it to do with Mando?
Yes, actually it was. Oh,
it's
exactly.
Time to watch it soon.
Which was so we've gotten so far, correct me if I'm wrong, we've gotten everything they've teased for us, right? We've gotten Ahsoka,
correct.
We've gotten Bo-Katan, we've gotten Michael Biehn, Boba Fett. So do you guys think, because now that was episode 5, right? So we have 3 episodes left. So our most short seasons would go into a 3-episode arc about now, to bring this
I
to
say,
a close.
oh, we're going all Gideon.
Yeah.
It's all about that Death Trooper shit or whatever he's trying to build. That starts tonight, I bet.
So
This is the thing, though, that I see the problem with that is his ship's just been completely fixed. It's perfectly fine for him to go straight to where Ahsoka told him to go and place the child on whatever rock. And he's got to be the one to tell this child somehow to reach out into the Force and find a Jedi. So he should go straight there. If we go anywhere else, why is he going anywhere else?
So how about this?
Though? Exactly where to go.
What if we take care of that in the opening of this next episode? He shows up at this planet, he puts the kid on the thing, the magical stuff happens, and then nothing else. And he goes, guess that was a bust, whatever. Then some of Moff Gideon's forces show up, find out because now they're tracking him, so we know that. They show up to blast his ass, and now we're off on their 3-episode arc about Moff Gideon through the end of the episode, because now we have a chance to pivot and course correct. Now we're back on Favreau's trajectory of the Moff Gideon shit, but we've put this ping out into the Jedi universe. So episode 8, the series season 2 ends now with whichever Jedi is going to show up to train the child. Nice, beautiful rehash of the end of The Force Awakens. So that is my prediction.
I can see that being the case. I just don't know where, I don't know what motivates the Mandalorian at the moment. Yeah. The only thing that's motivating him is getting the child to someone to train him, get him off his hands. That's all he wants to do.
Also,
so if let's say he goes to the thing at the beginning of this episode, puts the child on the rock, the child reaches out and he's like, okay, we've done that. Nothing's happening. All right, let's go. Where does he go and why? What?
Exactly. And actually, here's one of my
flat. The story's so soft. There's no substance to anything. There's no motivation for anyone to be doing any of this really, other than you help me, I'll help you. But you've got to help me first.
And so here's one of my huge issues too, is with a lot of this, help me help you, and him now just running around begging everyone for help. The character we were promised and the character we were introduced to in season 1 is an uncompromising badass whose one and only soft spot is the child. And then perhaps, we get the sense of, a very Malcolm Reynolds-esque, you're part of my crew, where Carl Weathers, Gina Carano's, Cara Dune, when they demonstrate that they're on his side, you're part of my crew now, this Mandalorian idea, my family and whatnot. Cool. I'm down for that. I'm not down for this total bitching out and softening of the character in season 2, where he just wants to be best friends with literally fucking everybody, and he wants to see the good in humanity and be everyone's buddy and only hurts the bad guys. Sorry, that's the name of my movie, asshole. Straight up, that is the title of the movie I'm working on. Where is my badass? Where is my uncompromising badass? You lose that the second Bo-Katan shows up and pushes his shit in. It doesn't matter that he goes toe to toe with Ahsoka, even though we see how dominant she is over this woman at the end of it. And none of that shit matters. What matters is that you see him get his ass whooped by the real Mandalorians, and from that moment on, you undercut the point of his entire character. I would rather see him get his ass handed to him by a fucking Jedi, because we've seen Mandalorians get their asses handed to them by Jedi before, and then have him be able to go toe to toe with Bo-Katan and challenge her on, really, is this the way? My way is just as valid. Add some validity rather than, you're the white man, even though Pedro Pascal is not actually white, you're the man, so you're doing it wrong. You're their overly conservative religious zealot who's the man. Wow, where have I heard this one before? If they go toe to toe and he demonstrates that there's value in his way instead, well, now, maybe we draw the parallels. Well, actually, that's going to be stupid and terrible, because now I feel like that's what they're going to do and what they're going to
do. Anyone out there thinking Child of the Watch is anything close to Death Watch, it's unless it's a offshoot of Death Watch, because Bo-Katan is Death Watch. So he can't be Death Watch. It's the Child of the Watch. It's something that they've just made up. I don't know what it is exactly.
Which, by the way, I don't know if you agree or disagree. Somebody else pointed this out to me, or pointed this out. I think one of the comments somewhere. Someone's take was, as part of the Death Watch, Bo-Katan did some pretty fucked up shit. And so who the fuck is she sitting here judging the Mandalorian's way of life? I don't know any more about that. I don't know. But basically what somebody's take was that Bo-Katan in her own right has done some pretty fucked up shit, has let certain things slide, has, been responsible or complicit in certain horrors herself. And so what moral ground does she have to stand on to criticize anyone else's way of life?
She's been Mandalorian, so her morals are Mandalorian morals, which is being a badass, kicking ass, and not asking any questions. Like that's what Mandalorians are, essentially, when it comes down to it. Now, in the Clone Wars, yes, Satine wanted to make them pacifists and not have them being these warriors that they were. But that's why I come down to the same thing with him not just killing the guy in episode 1 and taking the armor. If this guy is not a Mandalorian and he's wearing Mandalorian armor, this guy is dead. Dead. No questions asked. No, if you help me, I'll give you the armor. No, you're dead.
So that's another question for someone who knows his other lore. Then, outside of the mask thing, what about this, Children of the Watch lore that we've seen is drastically different from other Mandalorian lore?
Well, the only thing that I can see that's different now, I don't claim to be any form of expert, especially when it comes to EU Mandalorians. Like, I've heard bits and pieces and I've been told stories and things like this, but I haven't read everything and I don't know everything. But my understanding of despite the helmet thing and this offshoot, well, we really don't know really too much. It's almost like they've just made it up on the fly and they've called it the Children of the Watch or something like that. I've never come across this where they've never taken their helmets off before.
It becomes this whole gimmick. Exactly. It becomes this gimmick, which it goes back to the whole thing. One, why? Why the gimmick? Why the whole, especially if you weren't going to think it through and have your lore actually thought through and well scripted, why have it in the first place? Why have it be different from the lore that was already created if you weren't going to put the same amount of time into it? And then if what you're giving us isn't that drastically different from, once again, it's like, you got to show me, you can't just tell me, the armor looks a little different. Honestly, the Mandalorian's armor looks better. Bo-Katan's armor and their armor looks like they're trying to go 1-to-1 too much with the Clone Wars.
Same thing with Ahsoka. That's why she looked so oversaturated.
Exactly.
They used to do this thing where, even up until recently, when they'll take a cartoon design and try to engineer to the real world, they did this Clone Wars initiative back in 2003. They still do it to this day with high-end collectibles. They'll take Clone Wars designs and they'll put them on Hayden Christensen body bottles and stuff and make it look like the real Star Wars world. And that always looks great. That always looks 1-to-1 like how you would do it. For some reason, and I don't think it's the film, I think it's that the colors were too saturated, and I think it was Star Wars is a muted kind of gritty world.
Yeah.
And always, even in the prequels, yes, there are the bright elements of the other planets, but you get the Tatooine, you get the other parts, you do get that gritty ugliness. And I don't they remembered that with this show. I think with those 2 episodes. I think they remembered that everywhere else in this show, down to the fucking doorbell of Jabba the Hutt, that thing. But they missed that one point, and to me, they just felt like a sore thumb.
I did not like her lightsaber hilts. I was looking up now to see if it was 1-to-1 to how it is in the stuff. Based on the images I'm seeing, it's not.
Because in the cartoon Clone Wars, she had a yellow lightsaber.
But even the hilts looked way too just sleek and unfinished. Like a lightsaber hilt. All the material things in Star Wars look physical. They look built. They look made out of raw materials. They don't look sleek and unearthly and stuff like that.
Well, that's why, like, when people complain that the 19 years between episode 3 and 4, I think it's a valid complaint because it's not enough. Unless they had some great resources, fat rationing in the galaxy, which I literally never talked about.
True.
The designs of the prequels don't necessarily devolve to the original trilogy enough. So that's
sorry, Jeff. By the time we get all the way to the sequels, they don't even know how to find up. So
that's true.
The thing is,
technology.
But so we're even getting these hilts in this one that are just these sleek, smooth silver pieces. They're very thin. They're too thin for lightsabers, even for the blade that they're supporting, even though they make her blades sort of look thinner. They're too thin for anything we've ever seen support a lightsaber blade before. They're too sleek. It reminded me more of like, Legolas in the Two Towers than a Jedi. They're just, and they look like this piece. We know Jedis build their lightsabers.
Yeah.
And it's pieces. It's parts they put together around the kyber crystal and stuff. That's always been part of it. It's always been part of the fun of being a kid and having, like, now even Galaxy's Edge, apparently that's one of the cool things, is getting to build your own lightsaber and stuff. It's components put together. These ones just like smooth pieces of metal, so I guess she just force melted shit and force forged it and did all that with magical force to make this beautiful, smooth, sleek piece that does not fit in the rest of this gritty, dirty universe. Lord Vader, I'm talking specifically about the visual design for it in the show, the way they make it visually for the show. It does not look good. So what do we got here?
I'm just sort of trying to get the blades in this picture.
This is not what she's using in the show, though. That looks like the images when I do a quick image search of Ahsoka lightsabers. That's what I get. What you get in the show is not that, which then leads me to believe even more, if this is the promotional material they're putting out, that this was not a design choice, but even just pure laziness and a failure to properly complete the design of the lightsabers in the actual episode. And that was so much of this episode. You have the budget to do this right. Why does CGI look cheap?
Well, even the Montrolls and the Laku look better in this picture than they did on screen. Like with the wrinkles in that foam and stuff like that. That's, yeah.
The Laku, and then so you see the creases in the foam. It looks fucking cheap. Cosplayers have done it better. Like, you should not, if your show looks worse than cosplayers, and it's not because you're a low-budget bullshit cult classic that no one's ever heard of, you're doing something really fucking wrong. Really fucking wrong.
But they clearly don't think about anything, because I go back to season 1 again, tracking fobs. How do they work? Well, we know nothing, and they've just been dropped.
Oh,
They've just been completely dropped, but how do they work? I want an explanation, please, on those, because, again, that breaks law with why didn't Vader just use a tracking fob? Why didn't Boba Fett just use a tracking fob? But the other thing that I hate about tracking fobs is it takes away from that individual bounty's way of tracking his bounty. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, let me just push the tracking fob, find the direction I need to go, and we go. All right, cool. No, the investigation side of a bounty hunter and having to track down his bounty is completely gone because of that.
Also, why this whole B plot of secrecy and shit of planting the tracker and the ship and whatnot? Why not just put another bounty on Baby Yoda and reactivate the tracking fob and fucking track him that way? Because apparently it's a magical thing that just tracks anybody anywhere. So why not just, we saw that was a plot point in the last episode, was just, whoops, we can just put the bounty on him, and literally every bounty hunter with a tracking fob is gonna fucking go after him. So why not just hand it a bunch more of those, or why not just use one ourselves? Because apparently we have the technology to be able to track Baby Yoda literally anywhere at any time, and we never addressed that or did any reason, why made up any reason why he couldn't be tracked anymore. So why aren't they just still tracking him that way? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, they thought you killed Moff Gideon. You didn't. As soon as he is not dead and rescued, they should be right back to tracking them. There shouldn't be any other fucking issue here. I don't understand why all this extra foofra. Again, it's filling the holes in the dam by taking bigger chunks out of the dam. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah. It is. This is the thing. Again, you take a step back and you have a look. That's why it feels like The Force Awakens to me, because everybody's seeing the flashy lights and it feels like Star Wars. I'm sorry, just because something feels like Star Wars doesn't make it good, and it doesn't make it good Star Wars. There's moments of this that don't feel anything like Star Wars, and a lot of that's got to do with the music, but there's a lot of it, and I think people are giving it a pass when it's not that good. And again, like I said earlier, if Kathleen Kennedy keeps her job because of Mandalorian, man, It's our own fault. That's all I'm going to say. It's our own fault. And I'm not taking any blame in that because I'm clear with what I'm saying. It's not that good.
Yeah, I would have been fine with the direction the season 1 was going, even with some of the complaints about the overfocus on Baby Yoda and whatnot. I would have been fine if they had still as long as they continued on a trajectory where it was not that connected to the rest of the universe. Then I'm also fine because then, like, you go out to season 1, the good episodes and the bad episodes are just that. They're good episodes and they're bad episodes. They're not making and breaking the lore of the universe anymore. It's like, okay, well, that one that Bryce Dallas Howard directed wasn't all that impressive, but guess what? We kind of picked things up in the next one, and we're only 2 episodes away from one of the best ones of the show. So, all right, because we're not making it so important and so this and so that, I can enjoy the parts of it that feel like Star Wars. I can reject the parts of it that don't without feeling like I have a huge stake in this or that it has a huge, or like the future of Star Wars is somehow hinging in the balance of the show. It was better when it didn't have that weight on it because it had room to fail and course correct and play around and be great at times and not that great at other times. And it wasn't a big fucking deal. Yeah. Now that all eyes are on it, and now that it's got to be the fucking lifeblood of the entire Disney Star Wars era, everything lives or dies by it. So, and that's once immediately, and this is the shit. This is the shit of it too. So anyone out there who's like, these episodes are great, I don't, what are you talking about? Fuck you. Quit with fuck you. You love these episodes, awesome. You hate these episodes, awesome. I don't care if you love the show or hate the show. Clearly, some of you in the chat are enamored with Ahsoka and this presentation and all that stuff, and that is totally fine. Just remember, if you're going to start sitting here attacking people who don't like it just because they don't like it for different reasons than the reasons you do like it, you are just playing into Kathleen Kennedy's little game of getting all the people who are on board with her to go out and do her bidding and chew out and attack and shame everybody who isn't on board. You are just being a Last Jedi fan if you do that shit. So like it, fine. Hate it, fine. We were very transparent about, how we felt about the show from the get-go. There are no secrets here. If you came to this live stream, if you're in the Mindless Mob tonight, it's because you want to hear our take, agree or disagree. You want to hear our take on The Mandalorian. You don't have to be here. You can be here, and that's fine. And so that's great. And for the most part, it really doesn't apply to most of you guys. So the Mindless Mob, for the most part, you guys are chill. But when you see people out there who want to get all uppity and all shitty about, well, I like this show now, and I think it's great, so fuck you if you don't, remind them that they're being Last Jedi fans. Remind them that they're being the same thing. Remind them how much we in this community all laughed at the political hypocrisy of one side feeling one way about certain results and then 4 years later feeling the opposite side and not understanding how hilarious it is to literally be doing the same things you've been screaming about for the past 4 fucking years. So it is. Last Jedi fans, if you've been screaming about how much you hate The Last Jedi and how stupid it is and how offensive it is to Star Wars and shit, great. If you want to, and you hate all the people who are trying to shove it in your face, go awesome. Do not shove The Mandalorian in anyone else's face just because you happen to like the way they're doing the member berries. Watch it or don't. Love it or don't. We're still watching it. I know Ryan's watching it.
The only thing that I'll say and add to that is if you like it and you're just sort of giving it a pass for just don't just it's never just been fine, basically. Star Wars has never just been, yeah, that was fine. No, it's been, that was great. That was awesome. The story's fantastic, blah, blah, blah. We've always been able to break it down and talk about these things and, talk about how that does connect to that and all of these other bits and pieces, and it all makes sense and everything. The Mandalorian's fine. But my point is fine's not good for Star Wars.
Yep. Wow, Guitarn said it as right as you were.
Right.
It's sad when mediocre is the new phenomenal for Star Wars. Yep. And it's very right. And it's a question that Jeff and I keep asking a lot too, is like, we had to ask ourselves that question, how good is this show, or how much, or do we appreciate it just because it's better than anything else we've gotten?
Yeah.
And I honestly, I'm starting to feel like that is the reality. And that has been the reality the whole time, that there have been really good moments. There have been really good, solid Star Warsy moments in the show. And I will stand by that. But there have been some really egregiously bad moments as well. And yeah, you know, when you average it all out, you get a show that's pretty meh.
The opening scene to season 1 and the opening scene to season 2, where he's in those bars and he just kicks ass. That's the kind of stuff that we want to see. And then he goes off on these stupid little story adventures and things like that. It's, you know.
Exactly. We want to see him kick ass. We want to see him fight people. And the thing is, like, talking about the video game thing, you know, the boss fights are cool, but enough, you know, it can't be a boss fight every episode. You want, you know, you got your Mudhorn and your Crate Dragon. That's fine. Your Crate Dragon for your season 2, your Mudhorn for your season 1. But that should be it. There shouldn't be any other monsters, any other creatures, no cave spiders, no any other shit they want to throw at you. Exactly. It should just be fucking that. It should just be, you know, simple. Sometimes simplicity is the best way, and this is not the way.
Yeah.
And on that note, I think we're gonna get ourselves ready to close off the stream. Thank you for joining us. But any last words about the Mando? Thoughts, feelings, predictions? Wrap up. Anything else you want to say?
I don't know exactly where it's going. Again, I'll keep watching it and keep giving my genuine opinions about it. I'm not going to hold back. Just again, it's fine that there's a lot of people out there that like it, but I just can't sit back and not ask questions about this when we've always asked these sorts of questions and broken it down the way that we're breaking it down tonight, you know. So you can catch my reviews over on my channel. Also, in approximately 6 hours' time, I'm just going to say it like that, I'll be doing my stream Casual Rage, which will be breaking down the episode. So come over, subscribe, please. Check it out. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Really do.
Thank you so much for being here. Rhino, you're always such a pleasure. Raging Rhino, thank you. Everyone go subscribe to Raging Rhino. Let me real quick pull up your channel right here so I can drop that description or drop the link in the chat. Harbiter, why is my computer so slow?
Harbiter, I love Harbiter.
Yeah. The episode drops in about an hour.
You are closing on 1,000. You're closing on 1,000. That's fucking brilliant. Close. So everyone go sub. If everyone in this chat right now goes and subs to Rhino, he will still not have 1,000 subs, but he'll be a hell of a lot closer. Yeah. So next year, thank you for being here. Thanks for talking Star Wars with us. Always a pleasure. Jeff, any last words you wanted to say?
Yeah. Just keep everything in perspective, folks, and remember that we've been here before with Star Wars. Things do come full circle. Even Darth Vader says the circle is now complete.
Mm-hmm.
But don't give up all hope. I'm hoping like tonight, whenever we watch the episode in an hour, I'm hoping it's going to be good. I'm hoping it's going to get back on track. And I'm hoping it strays away from everything. Because if you take out Bo-Katan and Ahsoka, then for me, you only have an episode that I'm just okay on. Because I enjoyed the Sand People stuff.
I enjoyed the Crate Dragon
stuff.
Episode 4, and
the Crate Dragon shit was actually really. That's when you go to talk about the lore of Star Wars,
and talk about too, like you're using your CGI budget to create this incredible masterpiece of a creature,
cinema quality,
and
that could have been an Avengers movie.
And you want to tell me 5 episodes later, your shit can't get together to animate a fucking face? Like seriously?
Yeah, I just. Like you guys have really hit a lot of the points. I'm not going to go and become redundant or anything. I just want to say I've really enjoyed the show. I want to enjoy the show again, but I have to be honest with myself at all times.
Yep. Absolutely. And finally, guys, before I say God Empress out, I will always remind you, practice makes wrong. God Empress.
Later, guys.